recently was C2E2 in Chicago, and now the next Comic-Con that Funko's going to be doing is San Diego Comic-Con in July. So I'm DK Wrestler.
And I'm MD Shady.
And we're making our way too early predictions of Funko Pop and soda figure exclusives for San Diego Comic-Con 2024.
So let's check it out.
So of course, for today's prediction video, because San Diego is one of the bigger conventions that Funko does, we have 10 different categories that we're going to be going over as terms to our predictions, with one of them being either a Funko Pop or a Funko Soda. So let's go right to it with the first category for our prediction. So kicking off with the ad icons as our first category, and the pop that I had chose is a surfing Ronald McDonald for the McDonald's lineup. I thought that because of course San Diego Comic-Con takes place in July, it's the summertime, that we would have some sort of summer themed McDonald's pop. Of course, we have gotten a ton of McDonald's exclusives as terms to the McNuggets, but let's start expanding to the other characters. And so I feel like Ronald McDonald definitely makes sense, since they did do that cartoon back in the day. I can't remember the name of it, but you did see a surfing Ronald McDonald with that, and I believe the surfboard was actually of Grimace, so that'd be kind of a cool two-for-one.
The ad icons, one of my favorite sets to collect ever. I went with one that I haven't really talked about much. I think I might have brought up this character one time previously, and that's General Mills Cookie Crisp, their ad icon, Chip the Wolf. I think this would be really cool. I think there's an opportunity to potentially make this be a flocked pop, but I don't think it needs to be flocked. I think that the wolf himself with a bowl of Cookie Crisp would be awesome, with his tongue where he's basically licking his lips. I think that'd be great.
Now moving on to the animation lineup, and I have predicted a pop of Ojama Green from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now of course I gotta add a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pop to this list, but in the recent wave of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pops that got released, we had an Ojama Yellow pop, and of course there are many different Ojamas. There's the green, there's the black, red, and blue, I believe, and it'd be cool if all of them were like in a multi-pack at this point, leaving the yellow one by itself, but I feel like Funko is just going to do them singularly, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got Ojama Green as a Comic-Con exclusive.
It's the 25th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants, the Flying Dutchman. When is this going to happen? I think it's happening this year at San Diego Comic-Con. It just makes a lot of sense with the 25th anniversary, it being a character that so many people want to see. Of course, there's a ton of different SpongeBob characters that people want to see, but I feel like the Flying Dutchman is one of those big ones.
Next category is the Disney lineup, and I actually went with a Kermit the Frog with Banjo as a part of the Muppets. Now, I'm not sure whether this would be like a regular singular pop or maybe a deluxe form where he's sitting on the log playing It's Not Easy Being Green, but I'm basing this off the fact that at the last convention of C2E2, it was rumored that we were going to get a Muppets pop for that convention, but that never happened, and I feel like that's because they were going to save such a big exclusive for a big Comic-Con like San Diego Comic-Con. How I knew I could put this in the Disney lineup is because it's no longer a part of the Pop Muppets lineup. It's actually in the Disney lineup, since the Pop logo has nothing underneath it to show what lineup it's a part of, and you have the Disney logo on top of the Muppets logo, so it is classified surprisingly as a Disney Pop.
Again, with anniversaries, we have another 25th anniversary, and that is of Toy Story 2, and I'm going with Al. I would love to see Al in the chicken suit, but I would also not be too upset if we did see like an Al where he has his little greedy fingers out, and of course they would be orange, covered in Cheeto dust. I think that that would be awesome as well, but my prediction is the chicken suit. I feel like that's what a lot of people want to see, and it would be what I believe is the first actual human character in the Toy Story lineup, which I know me and DK are both really pumped to see some human characters enter the set.
The next category is the games lineup, and the pop that I had chosen is a blacklight variant of the Sun and Moon from Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's have become a huge franchise as terms to the Funko Pop lineup, and so I feel like Five Nights at Freddy's is bound to have some sort of Comic-Con exclusive soon, and I don't really know much about Five Nights at Freddy's, so I couldn't predict, like, let's say a new character within the video game, but if you take an existing one, especially with a lot of detail like Sun and Moon, but then of course with Funko's addiction of adding blacklight specification, I think it would look pretty cool with a blacklight box and specification, since especially Five Nights at Freddy's actually kind of started the whole lineup of blacklight.
This one was kind of tricky for me. Games seems to always be one that stumps me when we do these prediction lists. There is a game that is also having its 25th anniversary this year and is one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Worms Armageddon. I think that a Worms pop would be so cool. It could be kind of basic, or you can have him where he has like his army helmet on and maybe like a blaster of some sort. I think that'd be really cool, but a Worms pop would be awesome. The face on the Worms pop could be hilarious. I think it could be so cool the way that they can show expression on this pop.
The next category is Marvel and DC, and more specifically, I went with a Marvel pop, and I went with the safe route being a Wolverine pop classics. I think this definitely makes sense considering that Wolverine is one of the OG Marvel pops. I believe it was like number 5, I want to say, or number 3, somewhere around one of the first 5 Marvel pops to be made in the lineup, and especially with San Diego Comic-Con happening in July, July is also going to be the release date of the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and you know that there's definitely going to be some sort of Wolverine merchandise, especially them already doing a 50th anniversary wave of Wolverine pops, and especially because they have continued the Pop Classics lineup going into 2024, so it only makes sense that we do get one for San Diego Comic-Con, and it's probably going to be Wolverine in my opinion.
I'm doing a Marvel pop. There's no way I'm doing a DC pop. It's just not my thing. It is the 30th anniversary of the Spider-Man animated series, but there's one pop that I thought was missing from this set, and that's Rhino. How have we not seen a Rhino pop in all these years? There was the Marvel Collector's Core box, I believe, is where you got the first ever Rhino pop, but we haven't seen one since, so I think an animated series Spider-Man Rhino pop would be great for a con pop release.
The next category is the movies lineup, and I actually went with Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Recently, we all seen the abundance of Shrek pops that had just recently released with like the first Princess Fiona, Shrek, Donkey, the Puss in Boots, probably some that I can't remember, but I feel like a pretty cool character to make is Lord Farquaad, even though I believe this year is more of the anniversary of the second movie, which Lord Farquaad was more in the first movie, but I think it'd be really cool to actually bring a character like that into Funko Pop form. Whether it's singular or not, that is to be determined, because this could be pulled off as maybe as a pop town, which we have not seen pop towns in quite a while with like the castle.
I think that potentially this could be my most accurate guess. So with the 85th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz, this makes a whole lot of sense that we would see a pop at a con. So at San Diego Comic-Con, I'm predicting that we will see a Munchkin 3-pack. I think that'd be really cool. We've seen it before with certain pops like Snap, Crackle, and Pop. You can probably kind of see up there the 3-pack where they're pretty small characters, so they fit in like a almost 2-pack box pretty well as 3 separate characters. So I think that's kind of the route that Funko will go, and we will get a Munchkin 3-pack from The Wizard of Oz.
The next category is the retro toys, and I went with a beach attired Barbie. Now, once again, recently announced by various sources is that there's going to be a 65th anniversary Barbie set for the retro toys lineup. Transforming it into a pop definitely makes sense since they actually have not done it yet. They've done like the peaches and cream Barbie, the more like red dress Barbie, I can't remember the name of it, for the holidays, and I think doing some sort of summer theme, whether it is the beach one like I mentioned, or even like a lifeguard Barbie, I think would definitely make sense for retro toys here at San Diego Comic-Con.
So there was this certain toy company that basically took the world by storm in 2005. I know, only 19 years ago, but that's almost considered retro now. It's almost 20 years ago, and that is the character of Googles from Webkins. I think that this would be a great idea. I think it would be the white Googles. I think that's like the most iconic Webkin of all time, and it would have to be flocked. It only makes sense because the Google's Webkin had that like fluffy kind of texture.
The next category is Star Wars, and I knew if I was going to put any Star Wars pop, it was going to be for the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary sets, and I went with a Boss Nass Pop Deluxe. The leader of the Gungans, it definitely makes sense. The fact that we didn't have a pop yet of him is very surprising, but because this year is the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, it definitely makes sense. So I feel like that this year would be a year where probably with San Diego and New York Comic-Con, we will get some sort of Phantom Menace pops and probably newer characters.
Like DK said in his predictions, that Star Wars also has their anniversary this year with the Phantom Menace, and I went with one that I've been waiting for such a long time, and that's Shimmy Skywalker. I mean, this just makes a lot of sense. I do like the idea of Boss Nass as well, but I also really enjoy the idea of getting a Shimmy Skywalker pop.
The next category is the television lineup, and I went with a Timmy and Jimmy 2-pack from South Park, and this is more specifically when they are dressed up as gangsters, and I think this would be pretty funny. We'd get technically the first Jimmy pop, but of course now the second Timmy, since we did have the Timmy and Gobbles pop recently released with the new wave, and I think this would be really cool, especially because of course Jimmy and Timmy, they were like arch nemesis but become friends later on, and I think it'd be really cool, especially for that episode I'm talking about where they basically joined the Crips and Bloods. And of course they wouldn't add that to the box, it'd probably be called Gangster Timmy and Jimmy for more PG reasons, but I think it'd be a really cool 2-pack.
I went with one from Friends, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and I went with a deluxe 2-pack, I guess you can call it. Chandler and Joey in the recliners, of course, with the death of Matthew Perry, unfortunately. I think that this would be a really cool way to show kind of homage to him and how he's really impacted us with the show Friends. I think this would be great, and of course you would have to have Joey and Chandler both there in the recliners.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we now have YouTube channel memberships. So let's check out what you get if you sign up. So of course, when you go to the main page, you are going to press that join button. And when you press that join button, there's going to be 2 different tiers that you can choose from. The first one being the MDK supporter, which is only $2.99 Canadian a month, which you're going to get a loyalty badge beside your name in the comments on any videos or possible live streams, and it will change over time the longer that you are a member of the channel. And you'll actually get to use custom emojis in the comment section below, like the MDK Collects logo, a DK logo representing myself, DK Wrestler, an MD logo representing our co-host MD Shady, and then also by popular demand, MD Shady's cat chopper is an official emoji. And of course, you will be getting a shout out on every single video and podcast going forward. And then we also have another tier called the Early Bird Gets the Worm, which is $4.99 Canadian a month, and you get everything that you get from the previous tier of MDK supporter, plus you will get early access to every single video and podcast going forward. So if, let's say, on a certain day we plan to release a video and you're going on vacation, you can watch it the day before you go on vacation because you are a member of the channel. Plus, we have just added to this membership that we will have a behind the scenes look at different videos and podcasts that we are doing. So maybe even at this point, this is where you will exclusively get the bloopers and outtakes for all of our videos, is right here in the behind the scenes access as a part of the Early Bird Gets the Worm tier. So definitely consider signing up for our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated by both MD Shady and I that will be able to continue this channel going forward.
And the final category is miscellaneous. So anything that of course isn't from the categories we mentioned. So let's say Pop Rocks or the icon section. But I kind of went with a realistic route from basically the Pop Funko section, and that is a Franny Funko soda. Because we got the first ever Franny Funko Pop as terms to C2E2, I think it would make sense if they did the first ever Franny Funko soda for San Diego Comic-Con.
This one's pretty tough too. I couldn't really come up with like a Funko idea, and then some weird things like DK kind of mentioned earlier with the Muppets no longer being their own lineup, they're in Disney, and just weird stuff like that. I ended up going with Pop Rocks, a Weezer Blue Album Pop album. I think that this makes a lot of sense, and of course, you just have Rivers Cuomo's on the front there. I think that that just makes a lot of sense. I would love to see a Weezer Deluxe album pop at some point, but I think first things first, we get our, I believe, the first ever albums that is a con exclusive, and then it being Weezer would be really awesome with one singular pop. I think that'd be a really great way to do it.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed our predictions for San Diego Comic-Con 2024, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know down below your predictions and whose predictions you liked better out of the two of us, and we hope to see you guys on another video here on the channel. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Peace in, peace out.